Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for registering and joining today's webinar about how to unlock guest loyalty and close the booking gap. It's 2 p.m. in London. It's Tuesday, the 30th of April, 2024. My name is Jane Pendlebury. I am the CEO of HOSPA, the Hospitality Professionals Association. We're due to be chatting for around 30 to 40 minutes today with time for questions at the end. So please do ask questions throughout using the Q&A option, which should be at the bottom of your screen. If there's not enough time to answer the queries, we will get back to you afterwards. There'll be a recording and a summary of the key points available on the website as soon as we can get that edited and put up there. I'm delighted to be joined today by Judy Blakeburn from the beautiful Watergate Bay Hotel in Cornwall, as well as Matthew Prosser from Agilicis. And I'm now very pleased to ask them both to introduce themselves. Matthew, would you like to go first?
I certainly will, and thank you, Jane, for inviting me on this call. It's much appreciated. So yes, a bit of background on myself. I've been involved in hotel industry since probably the early 90s, a long time. I worked as an operator in a number of different hotels, 3, 4, 5-star, for a number of years before joining Micros Fidelio. I spent many a year at Micros Fidelio, probably some 14 years in total. And then around 2010, 2011, I began associating myself with Agilicis Solutions, and what must be nearly 14 years on, I'm still here. I've definitely witnessed and been party to the evolution of our current modern, intuitive, and rich ecosystem of solutions, and of course they're relevant to all aspects of the hotel or resort's needs. And probably worthwhile just touching on Agilicis as an organization. Agilicis, roots firmly planted in the USA, but obviously with a global presence. We design, create, and develop products that deliver high return hospitality. We do that by developing interactions that digitizes and tailors guest personalization, resulting in the ability to monetize and generate higher profitability. We cover all verticals of hospitality and solely hospitality. Nothing else do we get involved in. And we've developed a rich, complete ecosystem of modernized intuitive solutions. And finally, I guess some of our latest ventures, namely GuestSense AI, really begins to encroach on that world of AI. And we continue to innovate and really focus on how AI can be harnessed to deliver, whether it be dynamic pricing, availability, room upgrades, and also adding into the mix is how we can provide for conversational reservations. So really exciting times for Agilicis. Thank you, Jane.
Brilliant. Thanks, Matthew. And Judy?
Hi, I'm Judy Blakeburn. I work at Watergate Bay Hotel as the brand director. I'm also the brand director of now a group of hotels under the name of Another Place. I'm currently sat in our glass house at Another Place, the lake on the shores of Ullswater, which is a beautiful day. I've worked in hospitality now for over 40 years. I joined Watergate Bay 20 years ago when I came to Cornwall, and my role and responsibilities are all about our sales and marketing, but very much our guest experience through our brand. And I've been doing that, and we've moved that into Another Place, and we've recently taken a new hotel in Scotland called the Macri. So that's what I'm working on currently.
Perfect. Thanks, Judy. So today we're going to look at guest loyalty and how we can improve it, and if technology is going to help, or if it's going to enhance or hinder returning guest levels. So Judy, that's a great little summary about Watergate Bay and your other hotel in the Lake District too. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience of returning guests?
Yeah. So Watergate Bay Hotel has been in the Ashworth family since 1965. In 2000, we repositioned the hotel to ensure that it was a year-round destination. It was at a time when Cornwall was going through a renaissance as well, and we were able to take that opportunity. So for the last 24 years, we've been focused on ensuring that people understand that Cornwall is for every day of the year, the beach is for every day of the year. And our focus has been on both a family market and couples. So it's been this two-pronged attack. And we are very fortunate But over the years, we've been able to develop our brand and our guest experience to the point where now we routinely achieve 90% occupancy year round as an average. And our repeat guests are between 45 and 50% each year. So yes, that's a very an enviable place perhaps to be, but it comes with a lot of work to ensure that our guests choose to come back each year. So there's the loyalty. Shall I just go on and talk a little bit about what loyalty might mean for our guests? Loyalty, I think, comes in lots of shapes and sizes, and I'm sure that Matthew will talk about that more. But we've never been a hotel with a point system, but we do profoundly believe in loyalty. And for every school holiday period, if a guest has booked to come and stay with us, then that room is secure. That room and those dates are secure for them for the following year. And we have guests who've been coming for the last 12 years, for example, and they've been coming with, initially they've been bringing their grandchildren, and then we're multi-generational families coming to stay. So expansion of that guest value to us. So that's really what loyalty looks like. That's what it looks like to us at the moment.
They are amazing stats, but I have no doubt that they came with a lot of hard work and dedication from you and the team there. So Matthew, I know Agilicis recently undertook a detailed survey of guests inquiring about their rebooking habits. Does Judy's Watergate Bay experience follow that trend, or are they exception that we suspect they might be?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some exceptions actually, and again, it would be better certainly when I read some of these statistics off to delve into, you know, how do you do it? You know, how do you retain those high levels of occupancy? But if I just read off a few, and I'm going to read off of the screen because I don't have a photographic memory on some of these, but we cast a set of questions to 1,000 consumers in the UK. So we felt that was fairly broad, and it gave us the following return really. 27% of travellers rebooked a hotel, or should I say only 27% of travellers rebooked a hotel last year, which was quite surprising, which means, you know, for 70%, a lot of hotels have got to start from scratch again. Yeah, they've got to prospect, they've got to create marketing campaigns, and they've really got to try their best to pull in new customers, which, whatever walk of life you're in, whatever business you're in, is the hardest graft to be able to do that. So of course, if we can retain those customers, then that's certainly better. And Judy, and you know, your locations are certainly bucking the trend on that statistic. Now, based on that, it was estimated that if we were to improve guest retention by as little as 5%, which actually isn't a great deal, profits could increase by 25%. Obviously, we're not hunting for new business. We're not creating labour and effort along those lines. And of course, in the same vein, we're obviously looking to increase secondary spend across that regular patronage as well. So, you know, I'm going to say little effort, Judy. You're probably going to tell me that obviously it's a lot of effort, but generally speaking, you know, retaining customers should be easier than finding new customers. 85% of UK travellers have adjusted their travel plans in the last 12 months as a result of the cost of living crisis. So these are examples such as, you know, do I need to stay at a hotel? Do I go to the 4? Do I go to the 3? And again, that has also played a part in repeat visits and people coming back to the same location. This one's probably a big one for me actually, and probably something we're going to focus on a bit more, but personalized experiences, which I think is key in any walk of life. But 31% of people we interviewed said staff giving a personalized recommendation on what they should do during their stay, and 29% said restaurant staff remembering their food and drink preferences were really important to them as individuals, and to how they would consider returning back to particular hotels. Two more. 59% of potential customers said they would be less likely to book a hotel if they read a bad review. I think for us, that's fairly common, fairly well known. People are very quick to react to negative situations than they are a positive situation. But again, it's just recognizing that we want to avoid those as much as possible. And last but not least, 6 in 10 of the people canvassed said they are more likely to rebook at a venue that delivers experiences tailored to their individual preferences. And I think that's really, really important. You know, if you can look after the customer, treat them well, address their challenges quickly, we never always get it right, of course, and it's about how we react to difficult circumstances, then those guests will absolutely return. And I think that that's probably a nice one to finish on in terms of, you know, looking after your customer should be one of the easiest things to achieve. And if you can do that, and certainly as we talk a little bit more about how we can dovetail in the technology elements to enable that to happen, then we should see that 27% increase much, much more. So just some highlights from the report, Jane.
That's really interesting research there, Matthew. Thank you for taking the time to delve into that area and in such detail. And I think probably we all knew that retaining customers is easier than finding new ones, but the return on just retaining 5% of 25% is an incredible stat. So it'd be interesting to know what we do as individuals. Judy, when you book a hotel room, for example, if you were to come to London on business, or if you're traveling around for whatever reason, are you loyal to a particular brand, or do you just take the closest one to your meeting?
I'm particularly loyal to a brand. I'm very loyal to the Hoxton hotels. And they have a number of hotels in London now and worldwide. I think they're an extraordinary brand. They are absolutely not targeting their proposition at someone of my age, but the experience and the experience of going to stay is always exceptional. I never quite know what will be going on in the hotel when I arrive. And that kind of, when we talk about surprise and delight a lot, the fact I can walk in one night and there'll be a DJ in the lobby, or there'll be an artist, or there'll be something going on. I get into the lift and there's a poster about an event the following morning. The nature of their hospitality, the way their teams talk to their guests, it's very personal. You believe that you're seen. You believe that you're a person that they wish to engage with. And then everything about their hospitality, just personally, it sings to me. I love everything they do. And they're innovating all the time. So their restaurants are innovating. And I think that there's a level of certainty. I know the kind of room I'm going to stay in. I know how I'm going to feel. But then on the other hand, the element of surprise, the element of interest, whether it's the food, the drink, the active that's going on around it. And that makes me absolutely loyal. They have a loyalty program, which is interesting. I think it sounds interesting, but it's in my case, it's unnecessary. I don't need a free cup of coffee every time I visit. I want to go to Vienna. Their communication with me is fundamental. I hear from them enough, not too much. They don't sell to me every time they contact me, whether it's on social media or through newsletters. It's interesting. It's engaging. I think they do a brilliant job. Yes, so they have my loyalty, and I sing about them all the time.
Do you stay there? Would you stay at the Hoxton for both business related matters as well as personal related matters? Do you blend the two together?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's so much of the genius of their brands. They are absolutely set up for people who are traveling on work. They have great workspaces in their venues. But it's also a leisure experience. I would go there with my grown-up daughters, for example, and we'd all love it. They're dog friendly. They do these things that cross. So I think this ability to be able to cross segments, so to cross from a leisure market to a business market seamlessly, and to know who you're aiming at and why you make these decisions. They've really thought about it.
Very good.
There certainly is always a buzz when you go into a Hoxton. It's a nice place to stop and between meetings or whatever. It's got a good buzz. Yeah,
exactly
so
that.
I hope they're very grateful for your business, Judy. I'm sure they are. And I think actually the feel you described was the feel that I experienced when I came to Watergate Bay. Very, very engaging atmosphere and staff that seemed genuine and interested. So that's probably why you feel so at home there, because it's similar to Watergate Bay.
Thank you.
Probably that sense of feeling relaxed straight away as well. As soon as you walk
Yeah.
through the door, you know, you've immersed yourself in a complete experience that you're comfortable in. And yeah, certainly, Jane, I felt that at Watergate Bay as well. You just walk through the door and feels like you're just somewhere completely different, and the stress levels reduce pretty quickly.
And I think that's fundamental. Actually, we talk about that, the ability to enable our guests to relax. And you are right. That's exactly how I feel when I walk into a Hoxton.
Yeah.
Matthew, I know you travel a lot for work, both within the UK and overseas. What do you take into consideration when you're booking your accommodation?
Yeah, probably a few different things, but you know, certainty is probably the key word I might take away on this occasion from Judy's comments. But yes, look, I think when I've got my business hat on, you know, I seek out a seamless and probably frictionless interaction, I guess, when engaging in any type of booking or overnight stay in a hotel. I think the emphasis for me is definitely on a fluid stay, and that means I don't have to think about anything. You know, when I travel for work, and it is on a regular basis, you know, my customers are the priority. That's my focus. That means, you know, I spend a lot of time arranging and preparing for meetings, and I don't want anything that disrupts that at all or gives me any frustrations or headaches. So you know, everything from, you know, online bookings through to checking in to walking to the room, accessing the room, and even knowing where the light switch is all things I want to be able to be doing in my sleep and not have to think about. And you know, I do that, however, you know, in the hope that my patronage is recognized and appreciated by way of that hotel probably driving better personalized ways of interacting with me. You know, I do believe, however, that it's a bit hit and miss, and a lot of the time, perhaps most of the time, I think that the personalization I experience is perhaps in a similar vein to others out there, where it's relatively static. I think sometimes it feels like an attempt to personalize, but if I read between the lines, the message has probably been sent to the many. And you know, I fall into that Generation X category. You know, we're the generation that remember pre-internet, unlike our kids. And my experience should probably be a hybrid of both personal touch. We talked about that in the pre-meeting we had before this call, that we shouldn't lose that personal touch, but the digital touch needs to blend in subtly, appropriately, and really to have the opportunity of delivering what is absolute personalization. You know, if that data exists, then I want that warm email, that warm alert on an app that's just referencing my behaviors, my trends, and my previous stays, as well as that lovely greeting when you arrive and they remember you, you know, from the last time. So yeah, I think maybe that's my view. You know, my view is blending the technology, subtly blending the technology. But perhaps we have to be, you know, mindful of always accommodating those generational transitions. You know, we're always skipping generations every year, and probably that tech needle continues to push more and more each year towards technology. And therefore we have to embrace it, work with it, and ensure that we can deliver something that's appropriate and appealing to our customers.
So that's interesting. So you're both loyal, but for actually very, very different reasons. And Judy, the benefits that the Hoxton give to you are kind of neither here nor there, really. If they didn't give them, you wouldn't worry about going back. So loyalty programs have got their place for sure, but perhaps it's not so much about the points and the cups of coffee as just the familiarization, the recognition, and the personalization. So do we think as a group that technology really can enable hotels, such as the Hoxton, like Watergate Bay or one of the big branded chains, offer a natural and personalized experience to the guests? Is that something that is actually really achievable, or is it a pipe dream?
Shall I go?
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah. So I think technology has a very significant part to play in what we do at Watergate Bay. So what you said about it seeming natural, and I used a story with you just before we came on air. So 45 years ago, I had the opportunity to do some work experience with a superb general manager in quite a small, very high-end hotel. And the very first day, he was on reception, and this very large family checked in with a dog and children and all kinds of things going on. He knew everyone's name, the dog's name, what happened last time, everything else. It was superb. I was in awe. And I said to him, how do you remember all that? You have so many guests coming every day. And he picked up a shoebox, which had filing cards in it. And he said, I check my files every day for returning guests. So I know exactly what a guest might need or want. And I think that is now completely achievable with the software systems we use. We have, we are all acknowledged, we're big businesses, we have staff turnover. How do you enable your team to have that natural knowledge? Well, you don't. You provide it for them. We assemble it from all our interactions with the guests. And the way we're able to do that is we also have a guest services team. So we have a reservation sales, reservations team. Of course, we have an online booking. But around 3 weeks before you arrive at Watergate Bay, you will hear from our guest services team. They'll remind you to download our app. And our app is all about securing. We want you to have a wonderful time. Therefore, we want you to build out your itinerary and know what you're going to do. But our app is also securing our secondary spend. And secondary spend is, of course, vital to us. But that blend of us encouraging you onto the app is also followed up with the team being able to look at exactly what you have and haven't booked and come back to you with suggestions before you arrive. And that kind of blend of the two is what really ensures that a guest will have a great stay, knows about everything that's going on before they arrive, and secures for us the revenues that we need. So I think there's a phenomenal blend of the two that's necessary, and it's both an art and a science.
And it comes down to a good receptionist on the day of arrival as well, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
But even to that point, we've been, managing high staff turnover in the industry since COVID left us. We're getting more towards equilibrium with that, but we're also seeing that the skill set struggle. Yes. Individuals that perhaps had spent many years in particular hotels disappeared, and now we're in the next generation of those individuals, and they're learning, and maybe they're going to stay for 10 years as we get our feet back on the ground, but they need the support. They need the support and capabilities to help them on their journey of discovery in the industry. And I think, again, the subtle way of introducing technology, the ability to collect information and the ability to present it in a very easy to read manner, in a not so obtrusive way, whether that be through handheld technology, prompting, quick information on the screen as you approach the front desk, even simple things like how should I greet this person coming to the counter? Just something so simple but so meaningful to that person approaching. I think, again, technology is that enabler, continues to be that enabler, and guest trending and behaviors and how we bring that data together and present it in the right way. Where did I eat this time last year? What did I have to eat? Did I have a good meal? Welcome back. Where did I stay? What room? And again, I think hotels generally for decades have always focused on the room aspect of a hotel, and the other amenities have kind of like just dovetailed in. Oh, and by the way, room, RevPAR is X, but we're not quite sure what we've done in F&B. Well, today I think it is more about the guest. It's about the rounded approach to how we treat that guest during their entire stay. And there's both the secondary spend that we can accommodate, and there's also then the additional spend. So we should be thinking, you know, and again, when I think back to the number of years that I've watched statisticians present, you know, consolidated P&L trends, they talk about RevPAR and other metrics. We should be talking about revenue per guest. We should be talking about everything that encapsulates the spend of a guest while they're in your establishment. And then actually, work that we've been doing is identifying gaps using AI in terms of how we can see gaps in their stay and how we can then actually monetize that space. So if they're not doing something for 4 hours, well, that might be completely justified because they might be in the I can't remember the name of it, Julie, but in the cafe or in the restaurant in Watergate Bay overlooking the ocean. But perhaps during that 4-hour stay, there might be something else we can entice them with. But actually, internally we've started calling that revenue guest plus. So actually, let's get additional spend from these guys, but again, report on it, and then each time they come back, we get better and better and better. So yeah, just some further thoughts going from labour to how we can leverage data and putting information in the palm of people's hands. I don't know what your thoughts there in terms of customer data, secondary spend, whilst they're on
premises. Yeah,
on premise. Yes,
I think that's really interesting. So I think we do very well through the guest journey until they arrive, and then once you're in house, we have a fantastic front desk team, don't get me wrong, who are constantly engaging with our guests. But we don't use technology. We have lots of chalkboards around the building where we're trying to present those opportunities when people are on site. But you're right, that ensuring that everyone knows everything that's available to them at a time when they are ready to make that decision. Because it's all very well saying you want somebody to create an itinerary for themselves or with your help before they arrive, but they're on holiday. They need to be free to change, and that's an interesting one. People who who decide not to come, and no shows for restaurants, but it's another thing. But actually, I absolutely acknowledge that there is probably a really important part for technology to play in once guests are with you, how you use that, and it's not something that we've probably explored enough yet.
Yeah, so I've got to take over the moderator side, Joan. I've got to ask a question, Judy. How do you do it? You know, how do you get those 90% occupancy levels, you know, every year? You know, what's the secret ingredient? What's driving that? I mean, it's an amazing statistic. You know what?
So let's not forget our hotel is positioned on the cliff top above 2.5 miles of exceptional an exceptional bay, 2.5 miles of sand. It is an absolute draw. And we have, over the last 20 years, considered our marketing approach to be very much destination marketing. So making sure that we've showcased everything that Watergate Bay as a whole has to offer. So that's a natural draw, ensuring that people know the name Watergate Bay, know why you should come, and then once you've come, made sure that you've been able, I think this is great, that you've been able to truly experience everything that we have to offer that's appropriate for you, that tailoring of experience. We're a resort. You know, we're not just a hotel. We've got 4 restaurants on site. We have an Ofsted registered childcare facility that is free for all our guests. They're able to have their children go into a session for they're 2.5 hours long, up to 5 hours a day if they choose. It's a fantastic experience for those children. Those children absolutely love it. Our childcare team are just exceptional. So they are making sure that those children have a wonderful time, allowing their parents to enjoy some time for themselves, whether that's go in the pool, have a surf, go to a treatment room. So it's all about unlocking the entire experience, but making sure that we stay engaged with those guests after they leave. So yes, of course, we're going to ask you for feedback and reply to you, but ensuring that they are engaged with us via our newsletters or part of our social communities, and then not bombarding them with sales messages, but showcasing news stories, interesting things that are going on. We run lots of people do now, but we run an artist in residence program. So something completely different from our active destination. We had a pianist as our artist in residence last autumn, who spent a week with us in our public spaces, making music, creating a piece of music that represented Watergate Bay. We've had all kinds of artists take up residence. We've got one about to start here at the lake. So and then we have a program of free to attend public events on our beach. So we have something called Arts on the Beach in June, which is just a phenomenal weekend of arts and entertainment and workshops. And that's entirely free for everyone, the community to come and join it in. And it's these kind of additions that make sure that people carry on talking about us and think about us in terms of their next holiday. It's not going to be the same. It's not just that bedroom. It's what's Watergate Bay going to do next.
Yeah.
I think that's.
And are you using the customer data to determine your campaigns and outreach programs to a subset that have an interest in music, an interest in art, an interest in pianists? I mean, and all of a sudden your hotel's full with like-minded individuals, or is it intentional that you just keep a mix of everyone there?
So I would next year, the answer to that question would be absolutely. That's what we're doing. We do, but not right now. No, our newsletters go to our whole database, but we do a lot of guest research. So we've just done a very large piece of guest research, and it's understanding our guests, being able to segment our guests, and then make sure we're appealing to each of those key segments with the programming that we're building or the restaurants we're thinking about. It's that. So we absolutely are using that data. But when you see our newsletters, all of our database is seeing our newsletters. Social media, of course, we're more able to target.
Interestingly, we've got a comment here from Kat McLeod, who says, Watergate Bay sends some of the best newsletters that I read. Do you find these, this is for you, Judy, do you find these a major source of bookings via click-throughs, or do your repeat guests email and telephone through to book?
We absolutely see a return on investment for every newsletter we send in terms of direct bookings. So yes, there's the newsletters are all crafted with key opportunities to take action, action points on them. So yes, we are anticipating direct bookings. I should tell you, 50% of our bookings come online through our own website, and the other 50% come through our call center. We don't use OTAs at all, so all our bookings are direct. Our newsletter is the most important piece of marketing that we have, because it showcases everything we do and is where we tell our story of our brand. So it's fundamental. And yes, the return on investment is exceptional.
Great. Okay, thank you. There's another one here, another one for you actually, Judy. With your brand experience, would you agree the online customer experience is essential? Question on continuity of the brand standard of the website when moving on to online booking experience, both the confidence of the customer and of the brand standard.
Absolutely. Matthew and I are currently working on a new online booking engine for a new property that we're opening soon, and crafting that. So it's great. You have a beautiful website. You've got wonderful newsletters, and you're bringing people into the funnel, and then things fall apart in your online booking journey. That is something that we spend a lot of time reviewing. It's not perfect. Go to our site now. It's definitely not perfect, but we know that, and we're iterating the online booking engine all the time. It's vitally important, vitally important. And one of our internal debates right now, and we're looking at all kinds of industry data on this, is whether or not the online booking journey should simply be a room and you wait for everything else until you engage with them, say, let's say 3 weeks prior to arrival, or whether that online journey should deliver a room, the table reservations, the treatments, the sports lessons, the childcare sessions. What should we be asking people to do through that user journey to book?
At the same time, you're talking about there, Judy, are you? So should you do everything together from the creche through to surfing, room, yes, dining reservations, or should you just drip feed that?
Or should you drip feed that in? And we've got one brand doing one thing at the moment, and we've got another doing another. To start testing, we're testing a lot of different approaches. But absolutely, whoever asked that question, it's so vital that once you're in the booking engine, that the brand is maintained and the experience is maintained, and it is where it can fall down. It can suddenly become anything but seamless. So
I wonder whether the psychological aspect there would play out in the same way that those upgrade messages do. I mean, we'll use AI these days to leverage upgrades based on particular trends and behaviors, but to drip feed certain material that entices your guests to continue to invest in your product beyond just a regular upgrade, does that mean that we're going to get a better incremental spend outside of just that regular room booking, because it's not all being done in one go and we see a large number at the bottom of the page before we hit pay?
But I think that's particularly now when people are considering how much that they're paying, is interesting. I'm currently the booking journey is so much quicker if you're just booking a room, that I'm very warm towards that at the moment, to be fair.
So there's a big question here about technology enabling the staff, whether it's the back office staff organising the newsletters and the social media or whatever, but especially the front office staff on arrival, that they've got the tech there to support them, but they're not bogged down by it. They're not looking at it and thinking, oh, so you can then hopefully afford to employ people on their personality rather than on their technical ability and their experience of using other systems and all those sorts of things. So I guess that staffing is a big benefit of having the right bit of tech behind you.
Sorry, Jane, carry on.
No, please go, Matthew.
I was just going to say, we've been talking about the basis for this conversation being loyalty, and we spent 20. It's all appealing to the guest and obviously to the hotel in terms of maximizing operations. So maybe again, as we spoke pre-call around people, when they think about loyalty being points, thresholds, tiers, bronze, silver, gold, cashing those points in for stays, it goes way beyond that. It's just about doing the simple things, but again, leveraging technology. I don't think we'll ever do away with points. It's something that will be here, I think, forever, and brands will always leverage that. But I think there's horses for courses, and I think certain organizations, certain hotel chains, have the opportunity of going down a different route to achieve the same objective of just having that regular patronage. I don't, also your Hoxton comment earlier, I would stay in a hotel and not worry about a free coffee. They're
sorry, I was really underplaying there.
No, I know,
but you know what I mean. It doesn't matter. It's so much more than that. And I completely agree. There's absolutely the place for points and tiers, and in certain segments of hospitality that works beautifully. But our guests want a great deal more than that, actually. That whole, the piece that delivers value, and value, we look at our feedback, value is vitally important. Whether you're paying £100 or £1,000 a room, value, what did I get for my stay? What did it mean to me? What memories did I make? That's value.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I think it's true to say that the experience, I think we quite often pin that experience necessity on the millennials, but I think it's actually everybody, especially post-pandemic. We're not so much looking for, just the trip, it's the experience, it's the memories that you create rather than the just the booking of the bedroom. And a city centre branded property is going to have an entirely different approach to something like Watergate Bay and Hoxton. They're such different properties. There are quite a few questions coming in, actually. There's another one which takes us diverts a little bit, but it is quite interesting. It's about the roles that social media play in your marketing. Now, we've talked a lot about the newsletter. I don't want to dwell on this too long because we're running out of time anyway, but your newsletter is clearly successful. We've had comments on that. Is social media a very important part of your marketing as well, Julie?
Yes, it's vital. We have very large communities online for a business of our size, I think. Combined, we're well over 200,000 followers within that community. We're an Instagram first business currently. That's where we focus. So as I said before, through the newsletter, we're storytelling. Through social media, we're storytelling. But we're also part of our PR strand is to ensure that we're having other people tell our stories. So whether that's having guests allow us to share their content, or having influencers come and stay, or, for example, our artists in residence who will then do takeovers of our social media channels. All of that means that we're engaging, and it's the number of times that you engage in a relevant way with your communities, and those communities have a lot of repeat guests in them. So we are, all of this is for them as well as driving new people to us. So yes, it's fundamental. We care for it. Every word we write, every picture we put up, it's everyone is incredibly important.
Yes, and I guess that personalization is something that you have the freedom to do a lot more than a Hilton or a Marriott in a city centre, who probably just haven't got the ability to do that. People are commenting here, Judy, that they're going to take some of your ideas and share them. So you're clearly doing a lot right.
Thank you.
That you're doing that right. Taking us back to technology a little bit on that. I mean, we used to just call it guest history, didn't we? And your shoebox story there, Judy, I'm sure a lot of people will remember just literally cards on a Rolodex almost with guest history on. But storing that information, Matthew, do you think that a large corporate hotel chain and smaller boutique style properties can use the same sort of technology to keep that data on guests and then share that with the guests as they arrive, share that personalization?
I think they can. I think there's still a long way to go. I think probably a lot of people listening on this webinar will perhaps understand that they may well be collecting lots of data at the moment. That was something that was encouraged some time ago. But then when I have all this data, what do I do with it? And again, we'll talk to people that collect all this data but still use the first name, last name and email address and e-shot their customers, and that's as far as it goes, because the effort involved in mining all this data for certain groups is unfathomable ultimately. So we have to be able to collect that data. I think the consumer, as we've touched on over the last half an hour, wants to have that personal touch. If we can create the personal touch, it means we're probably going to see some increased profitability and additional spend, and we're going to see some repeat patronage, keeping it subtle in certain environments. And then further up the corporate chain, the big guys are obviously doing their utmost to try and again consolidate this data. But I also believe that they will have their own challenges to ultimately personalize that data. So I think we're on that journey. I think that the tools and capabilities to mine that data in a meaningful way, segment the data is really what's important. But presenting that in a way that doesn't just help the marketeers reach out post stay, it helps the in-stay ability to surprise, delight, excite everything that's necessary during the stay. So I think we're on the journey, and we're certainly, involved with many clients in terms of helping them on that journey with the work that we've done. But yeah, it's definitely work in progress for a market, for the hotel market, definitely.
Yes, certainly. And the key thing there, I think, is making sure your in-house staff do have that, so that it creates
Absolutely.
the experience. That's absolutely it.
Absolutely.
We have actually run out of time now, so it falls to me to thank you all very much for listening and all of your questions. And there are some unanswered ones, so we'll get back to you on those. Judy and Matthew, thank you so much. Lots of great discussion there. We could have gone on a lot longer, and I'm sure lots of the listeners will now want to visit Watergate Bay, and perhaps Lake District as well.
Yeah.
Certainly, I had a marvellous stay when I was at Watergate Bay. Please remember that all the discussions shared today are based on personal experiences. Should you want more formal advice or to receive a copy of Agilisis's research, please do get in touch and I can point you in the right direction to get all of those, or get you directly in contact with either Matthew or Judy. And please do take a look at our website for other upcoming events. This week it's the National Hotel Marketing Conference up in Burton-on-Trent. So if anyone's going there, I shall see you there. We have lots more webinars scheduled, as well as our regular annual in-person finance update from BDO in June, which is always a popular one. So please do take a look at the website to see what we're doing, both online and in person. You'll be able to find a recording of this webinar and our other webinars and masterclasses with a summary of the key points on hosper.org. And this one will be uploaded hopefully within a week or so. But thank you, Judy. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you all for listening.
Pleasure. Thank you all.
Seeing you again soon.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.